Life is not static, it is a continual becoming. The very essence of existence is movement, growth, transformation. From the moment we draw our first breath, we are set upon a path that refuses to stand still. The human spirit is not meant to remain unchanged, locked in the patterns of yesterday. It was created with an endless capacity to evolve, to stretch, to reach for heights not yet seen. Even when we are unaware, even when we resist, life keeps unfolding, and in that unfolding, we are becoming something new. The tragedy lies not in change itself, but in the failure to recognize that becoming is the natural order of life. To fight it is to miss the beauty, to miss the invitation to grow into something greater. When a seed is planted in the soil, it cannot remain a seed. No matter how much it clings to its smallness, the forces of life will press it to crack open, to sprout, to push through the darkness toward the light. The seed does not become less in the process, it becomes more. It becomes the fullness of what it was designed to be. So it is with every human soul. Remaining static, remaining in yesterday's identity, is as unnatural as a seed refusing to grow into a tree. The question is not whether we are becoming, for life ensures that we are always in motion. The question is whether we are becoming all that we were created to be. We are constantly shaped by time, by experience, by the thoughts we allow to linger in our minds, by the voices we listen to, by the people we choose to walk with. Each encounter, each decision, each victory, and each wound, these are not wasted moments. They are brushstrokes on the canvas of our becoming. To imagine life as a stagnant pool is to misunderstand its very nature. Life is a river flowing forward, reshaping the landscape, carrying us toward destinations we may not yet see. The only choice we truly have is whether we yield to the current with purpose or resist, until we are dragged unwillingly into places we never desired to be. There is a quiet danger in believing that who we are today is all we will ever be. That belief kills the spirit before the body. It lulls us into complacency, into the false comfort of stagnation. But the truth is undeniable. If you are not becoming more, you are becoming less. If you are not stretching upward, you are sinking downward. Neutrality does not exist in the realm of the spirit. Growth is life, and to refuse growth is to embrace decay. The trees do not ask whether they will grow taller with the passing seasons. They simply respond to the sunlight and the rain. Likewise, we are called to respond to the opportunities, challenges, and divine whispers that push us forward. This journey of becoming is not without its pain. In fact, pain is often the very evidence that becoming is taking place. Muscles stretch and tear before they grow stronger. The soil resists the seed before it bursts forth. In the same way, our struggles, our losses, our moments of breaking all serve as catalysts for transformation. To curse the pain is to curse the process. It is in the fire that gold is purified, and it is in the seasons of hardship that we are shaped into vessels capable of carrying more light, more wisdom, more love. Every trial has within it the seed of becoming, and those who learn to see it find that even suffering is not wasted. Becoming requires letting go. You cannot step into tomorrow while clutching tightly to yesterday. Old habits, old fears, old identities. These are weights that anchor us to the past. To become, one must release. Release the bitterness that poisons the heart. Release the voices that told you that you could not. Release the failures that whisper you are not worthy of more. Only in letting go can we rise. And though letting go feels like loss, it is truly gain. It creates space for the new, for the greater, for the unfolding of destiny. Life's continual becoming is also a call to responsibility. If we are always in motion, always changing, then we must choose carefully the direction of that change. Thoughts become actions, actions become habits, habits become character, and character becomes destiny. To neglect the small choices is to neglect the trajectory of our becoming. It is not enough to wish for growth. Growth must be cultivated through intentional living. To choose kindness over anger, faith over fear, hope over despair. These are the bricks that build the pathway of becoming. And yet, becoming is not a race. It is not about striving to be someone else or measuring ourselves against the progress of others. True becoming is deeply personal, uniquely designed for each soul. Just as no two trees grow in the same shape or direction, no two lives unfold in the same way. Comparison stifles becoming, for it shifts the focus from our own journey to the illusion of another's. The beauty of life's continual becoming is that it is crafted for you, by you, with every breath you take. Even stillness does not mean stagnation. There are seasons of quiet, seasons of waiting, seasons when nothing seems to be happening on the surface. But even in those moments, becoming is at work. Just as roots grow deeper in silence, unseen and unnoticed, our inner life is shaped in the still places. Reflection, prayer, rest, all are essential parts of becoming. The visible transformation may come later, but it is birthed in the invisible spaces of the soul. Life is not static, it is a continual becoming. Every sunrise brings with it the invitation to be more than you were yesterday. Every breath is a reminder that you are still in motion, still unfolding, still on the path of growth. The choice is not whether you will become, but what you will become. Every choice shapes the person you are becoming. Life is not built in one grand decision, but in the countless small choices that form the fabric of each day. The paths we walk are not laid out in a single moment of clarity, but are stitched together from decisions made in the quiet, often unnoticed corners of life. Each choice, whether deliberate or careless, is a seed planted in the soil of our becoming. Those seeds grow sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, until they shape the landscape of who we are. It is easy to overlook the power of a single choice. A word spoken in kindness may seem insignificant, yet it can change the direction of a relationship, and that relationship may change the direction of a life. A moment of honesty can shift the course of a career. A decision to forgive can transform the state of a heart. Choices ripple outward, touching not only our own becoming, but also the becoming of those around us. Like stones dropped into water, they create circles of impact that extend further than we ever imagine. Some believe that destiny is fixed, that who we are meant to be is carved in stone, and no choice can alter it. But destiny is shaped by decisions. It bends and responds to the choices we make, because free will is woven into the design of life. The freedom to choose is both a gift and a burden. A gift, because it means we are not prisoners of circumstance. A burden, because it means we cannot escape responsibility for the direction of our lives. Even the refusal to choose is itself a choice, and it carries consequences of its own. Choices are not all equal. Some are small, almost invisible at the time, but they compound over days and years until they define our character. To wake up early and nurture discipline, to speak truth instead of hiding behind lies, to choose gratitude in moments of disappointment. These small acts are quiet builders of the person we are becoming. Other choices are weighty, obvious crossroads that demand courage. To walk away from what is toxic, to step into what is unknown, to risk failure for the chance of growth. These decisions leave visible marks on the journey of becoming. Both kinds of choices, the quiet and the monumental, carry equal importance because together they create the whole. Every choice flows from the inner world of belief and value. We act from what we hold true about ourselves and about life. If we believe we are powerless, we choose fear. If we believe we are capable, we choose courage. If we believe we are unworthy, we settle for less. If we believe we are loved, we reach higher. This is why becoming is not only about the external acts, but also about the internal shaping of thought and belief. To change your becoming, you must first change the beliefs that drive your choices. There is an unseen weight to choices, a moral gravity that pulls us in one direction or another. Decisions made in anger often lead to regret. Decisions made in patience open doors to peace. When faced with difficulty, the human heart longs for the easier road, yet the easier road often leads away from growth. The more challenging path, though steep, shapes resilience and strength. Every fork in the road asks us, who will you become through this choice? What kind of person will be formed on the other side of this decision? Some choices are irreversible, and their consequences remain with us for a lifetime. Yet even in regret, becoming does not stop. The pain of wrong decisions can be transformed into wisdom. Mistakes, when acknowledged, refine the soul. They remind us that becoming is not about perfection, but about direction. No choice is wasted when it becomes a lesson that shapes future steps. To learn from a choice is itself a choice, one that redeems what might have been lost. We are shaped not only by the choices we make for ourselves, but also by the choices we allow others to influence. Voices of family, culture, and society whisper constantly, suggesting which way to turn. To follow blindly is a choice. To question and seek alignment with our true values is also a choice. The strongest lives are not those who never face pressure, but those who choose, even in the midst of pressure, to remain aligned with the truth of who they are. There is a sacredness in choice, because in each moment of decision, the future is written. Every yes creates a new possibility. Every no closes a door. Each decision carries within it the seed of transformation. To waste choices on fear, resentment, or complacency is to waste pieces of life itself. To use choices with intention, guided by vision and principle, is to step consciously into becoming the person we are meant to be. The truth is that we are never far from transformation, because at any moment, a single choice can redirect the course of our lives. One step, one decision, one act of courage can shift everything. This is why we must guard our choices with vigilance. They are not random, they are powerful tools of creation. They shape the character, the relationships, the opportunities, the legacy. We may not control every circumstance, but we do control how we respond, and that response shapes us more deeply than the circumstance itself ever could. Every choice shapes the person you are becoming. To live with this awareness is to live awake, to understand that every moment carries weight, and every decision writes a line in the story of who you are. Becoming requires surrender, not striving. There is a tendency in the human heart to believe that the fullness of life can be grasped through sheer effort, through determination, through constant pushing against the limits of our own strength. The world applauds striving. It praises those who never stop running, those who chase success as if it were a prize that can only be earned by exhaustion. Yet the truth of becoming does not flow from endless striving, for striving exhausts the soul and often leaves the spirit emptier than before. Becoming, true becoming, emerges when we lay down the burden of control and yield ourselves to a greater work that is beyond our own power. Surrender is not weakness. It is not passivity, nor is it resignation. Surrender is the recognition that the deepest transformation of life does not come through force, but through alignment. When a river flows, it does not strain to move forward. It simply follows the pull of gravity, yielding to the natural order that carries it onward. When we surrender, we place ourselves in the current of life, in the current of divine purpose, and we allow ourselves to be carried to places striving could never take us. It is in surrender that we discover strength beyond our own, and in that strength we are shaped into who we were always meant to be. Striving is born of fear. It whispers that if you do not hold everything together, it will fall apart. It tells you that your worth must be proven, your value earned, your significance justified by your performance. Striving enslaves the soul to the expectations of others and the standards of a restless world, but surrender is born of trust. It knows that you were created with intention, that you are guided by hands unseen, that your becoming is not dependent solely on your restless labor. In surrender, you lay down the false belief that you must be the architect of everything, and you allow the greater architect to bring design and order to your becoming. There is a paradox in surrender. When you release the need to control, you find yourself moving forward with more clarity and peace than striving ever produced. Striving scatters the mind, overwhelms the heart, and blurs the vision. Surrender clears the vision, stills the heart, and sharpens the focus. In surrender, energy is no longer wasted on fighting battles that were never yours to fight. Instead, that energy is channeled into the growth, the purpose, the becoming that was always meant for you. Consider the growth of a flower. It does not strive to bloom. It does not force itself open through tension or panic. It simply surrenders to the sun, to the rain, to the rhythm of the seasons. In its surrender, it becomes what it was created to be. In the same way, we become by yielding to the process, by trusting the timing, by allowing the seasons of life to unfold as they must. To resist is to wither, to surrender is to grow. Surrender does not mean doing nothing. It means doing what is yours to do while releasing what is not. It means working faithfully with what has been placed in your hands, while letting go of the illusion that you must carry the weight of outcomes. It means laboring with diligence, but resting in trust. It means taking steps forward without demanding to see the entire path. Striving insists on control at every moment, but surrender accepts that becoming is a partnership between what you do and what is being done in you. There are places within the human heart that striving can never reach. Striving can build skills, achieve goals, and accumulate accomplishments, but it cannot heal wounds, it cannot create peace, it cannot transform the inner life. Surrender, however, opens the soul to that deeper work. It allows grace to reach into the places we would otherwise keep hidden. It invites change not only in what we do, but in who we are. Becoming requires more than achievement, it requires transformation, and transformation begins with surrender. Surrender is also the key to freedom. Striving binds us to the opinions of others, to the fear of failure, to the endless comparison that steals joy. Surrender releases us from that bondage. When you surrender, you are no longer striving to prove your worth, because you know your worth was never in question. You no longer measure yourself against the progress of others, because you are becoming according to your own design, your own calling. Freedom comes when you release the need to fight for approval and simply allow yourself to become who you were created to be. It takes courage to surrender, because surrender feels like loss. It feels like letting go of control, of certainty, of the illusion that you can manage every outcome. Yet what feels like loss is truly gain. By surrendering what was never yours to control, you gain peace. By surrendering fear, you gain courage. By surrendering the need to prove yourself, you gain authenticity. Every act of surrender creates space for new life, new growth, new becoming. Becoming requires surrender, not striving. To strive endlessly is to carry a burden too heavy for any soul to bear. To surrender is to find rest in the truth that life is working with you, not against you. In surrender, becoming unfolds naturally, in rhythm with the deeper purpose that has been written into your very being. True becoming flows from the inside out. The world often teaches us to measure ourselves by what is seen on the outside. Our accomplishments, our possessions, our titles, the image we present to others. Yet those are but reflections, surface appearances that may or may not represent the reality of who we are within. Real transformation, the kind that endures and carries weight, does not begin with outward change. It begins deep within the heart, in the unseen places of the soul, and only then does it move outward to shape the visible life. The root always comes before the fruit. A tree cannot bear fruit by painting its branches. The fruit grows because of the life flowing invisibly from its roots. In the same way, true becoming is not about external polish, but about the quiet, invisible shifts that take place within us. When the heart is changed, the life will reflect that change. But when the focus is only on the external, the transformation is fragile, temporary, and shallow. It is like building a house on sand, impressive to the eye for a moment, but unable to withstand the storms of time. Becoming from the inside out requires honesty. It demands that we face the truth of who we are when the masks are removed, when the applause has faded, when there is no one left to impress. This honesty is not easy, for it forces us to confront fears, insecurities, and wounds we would rather hide. Yet it is only in facing them that we can heal, and only in healing that we can grow. The world may be satisfied with appearance, but the soul knows that appearance without authenticity leaves us hollow. When transformation flows from the inside, it carries a different weight. A person who becomes kinder from the heart radiates that kindness without effort. A person who becomes peaceful in spirit exudes peace in every situation. A person who becomes strong in conviction stands firm regardless of opposition. These qualities cannot be faked for long. They emerge naturally when the inner life is cultivated and allowed to grow. Outward actions then become not performance, but overflow, an expression of what is already true within. The danger of focusing on the outside first is that it creates pressure to perform. Striving to appear successful, striving to look happy, striving to seem fulfilled may convince others for a time, but it wears the soul thin. It leaves us exhausted because it is unsustainable. True becoming does not require constant performance, it requires alignment. When the inner and outer life align, there is no longer a gap to fill, no mask to maintain. Life flows more freely because it is rooted in authenticity. The deepest battles of becoming are fought within, in the realm of thought and belief. What you believe about yourself, what you believe about others, what you believe about life, these beliefs shape your becoming more than external circumstances ever could. To believe you are powerless is to live small, no matter how much you achieve outwardly. To believe you are unloved is to remain empty, even if you are surrounded by people. But when beliefs are reshaped, when you begin to see your worth, when you recognize your value, when you embrace the truth that you carry potential beyond what you imagined, then every choice, every action begins to align with that new reality. Inside out becoming is also a slower process, and this is why it is often resisted. Outward changes can be made quickly, appearances can shift overnight, but the heart takes time to grow, to unlearn, to heal, to reshape. Patience is required to endure the seasons when nothing visible seems to be happening, yet underneath the surface, deep roots are forming. To demand immediate results is to settle for surface change. To embrace the slower, deeper work is to build something that lasts. True becoming from the inside out also brings resilience. When life is shaken, when storms arise, those who have only built an outward image find their identity crumbling. But those whose becoming has been nurtured inwardly stand firm. Their peace is not dependent on circumstances. Their joy is not dictated by success or failure. Their sense of self is not at the mercy of the opinions of others. They have become solid within, and that solidity carries them through the uncertainties of life. It is easy to compare ourselves to others when looking only at the outside. We see their achievements, their appearances, their possessions, and we feel less in comparison. But when we understand that true becoming flows from within, comparison loses its hold. Each journey of becoming is unique, shaped by the inner life of the individual. What matters is not how polished the outside appears, but how authentic, how alive, how transformed the inside has become. Inside out becoming transforms not only the self but also the world around. A heart that becomes compassionate spreads compassion outward. A spirit that becomes hopeful lifts others into hope. A soul that becomes free inspires freedom in those who encounter it. Transformation at the core naturally overflows, touching lives without effort or force. It is contagious because it is real. True becoming flows from the inside out. It begins unseen, it grows slowly, and it cannot be faked. It demands honesty, patience, and courage. It shifts beliefs, reshapes the heart, and builds a foundation that cannot be shaken. It turns performance into authenticity, exhaustion into peace, surface change into lasting transformation. It is the only kind of becoming that endures. The greatest tragedy is to stop becoming. Life is movement, and when that movement halts, when the spirit resigns itself to staying as it is, something essential is lost. The tragedy is not in failure, not in mistakes, not even in suffering, but in choosing to remain unchanged when life is offering the invitation to grow. To stop becoming is to settle into a shadow of what was possible, to live beneath the level of your own potential, to silence the voice within that whispers there is more. The moment a person believes they have arrived, that there is nothing further to reach for, nothing more to discover, no growth left to pursue, they begin to decline. Stagnation is not neutral. It is the slow erosion of the soul, the dulling of the mind, the shrinking of the heart. The tragedy is not that we grow old, but that we stop growing long before age ever reaches us. True life is found in continual unfolding, in the endless process of becoming more, deeper, stronger, wiser. To stop becoming is to let fear take the throne. Fear whispers that change is dangerous, that growth requires too much risk, that stepping beyond the familiar will end in loss. Fear convinces us to remain in the comfort zone, but the comfort zone slowly becomes a cage. What once felt safe becomes suffocating. The tragedy lies in accepting the cage as home, forgetting that wings were meant to fly. Fear may shield us from discomfort, but it also shields us from destiny. Another reason people stop becoming is disappointment. Life does not always unfold the way we expect, and when dreams are delayed or shattered, the temptation is to retreat into resignation. It feels safer to stop hoping, to stop reaching, to stop expecting more, than to risk another disappointment. Yet disappointment, when embraced, is not the end of becoming, but the soil in which new becoming can grow. The tragedy comes when the heart refuses to try again, when it closes itself to possibility and decides that the story is over while there are still chapters to be written. To stop becoming is also to deny the essence of life itself. Every element of creation is in constant motion. Seasons shift, rivers flow, stars burn, flowers bloom, and even in silence, roots are growing beneath the surface. The natural order of existence is continual transformation. To resist that order is to resist life itself. The tragedy lies in refusing to participate in the very rhythm of creation, in choosing stagnation when everything around us is in movement. The tragedy deepens when a person stops becoming not only for themselves, but also for those connected to their life. When you stop growing, you rob the world of the gifts that would have emerged from your continued becoming. Someone's healing, someone's inspiration, someone's hope may have depended on the version of you that you were still meant to become. The tragedy is not only personal but collective, because every life touches other lives, and stagnation creates ripples just as surely as growth does. There is also the tragedy of settling for survival instead of pursuit of fullness. Many live with the belief that life is only about getting by, meeting basic needs, moving through routines. They stop asking what more could be possible, stop seeking depth, stop hungering for meaning. To live only for survival is to silence the call of the soul for abundance, for richness of experience, for the fulfillment of purpose. Becoming is not about survival, it is about thriving, and to stop becoming is to strip life of its greater meaning. Stopping the journey of becoming is often disguised as contentment, but true contentment and stagnation are not the same. Contentment is gratitude for where you are while still being open to growth. Stagnation is the refusal to move, masked as peace but rooted in fear or weariness. The tragedy lies in confusing the two, in calling stillness growth, in calling resignation wisdom. Contentment fuels becoming, stagnation suffocates it. When becoming stops, imagination withers. Vision shrinks, the future becomes nothing more than a repetition of the past. Life narrows to routines without wonder, days without anticipation, moments without awe. Dreams dissolve, and with them, the energy that drives us forward. The tragedy of not becoming is not merely about what is lost in the future, but about what is lost in the present vitality, curiosity, joy. The greatest tragedy is to stop becoming, because becoming is the essence of what it means to be alive. The moment you stop, you cease to live in the truest sense, even if breath still fills your lungs. To stop becoming is to abandon the unfolding of your own story, to leave unwritten the chapters that could have held breakthroughs, discoveries, transformations. It is to allow fear, disappointment, or complacency to dictate the end of your growth while life still calls you forward.